Welcome back to another Sunday night story time. I've got a super fun book for you this week since this is our very first story time of the month of March. In the month of March, I like to dig out my Irish roots and read some stories in honor of St. Patrick's Day. So today I'm going to read you Clever Tom and the Leprechaun. This is an old Irish folk tale, but it was recently retold into this book by Linda Shute. One fine day, on Lady Day in the harvest, Tom Fitzpatrick took a ramble down the lane. Click-clack, click-clack. He heard it through the hedge, so Tom tiptoed closer to take a look. The clacking sound stopped when Tom peeped through the bushes, and in the shadow, what did he see? Why, a big gallon pitcher and a teeny tiny man with a brown leather apron and a three-cornered hat. Up the small man climbed on his wee wooden stool and dipped his little piggin into the crock. Then he settled down with his full mug beside him to hammer on the heel of a fairy-sized shoe. By the powers, thought Tom, it's a leprechaun. If I catch him and scare him, he'll give me his gold. Since I'm a clever fellow, that should be simple. Before the sun sets, I'll have my fortune made. Tom stared at the leprechaun, and he tried not to blink. He knew that if he looked away, the old man would escape. Then he crept up quite near, and he tipped his hat politely, saying, "Good day to you, neighbor. Blessings on your work." "Thank you kindly," said the small one. But he never looked up. He just kept on tapping at the heel piece of the shoe. Tom moved his hand closer while he smiled very sweetly and said, "Today's a holiday. You shouldn't have to work." The leprechaun frowned and answered Tom sharply, "If I do, that's my business and none of your own. Instead of pestering me, young man, you ought to be watching your father's fields. Look there. The cows have broke into the oats. See? Now they're knocking the corn all about." Cows in the cornfield? Tom's head started turning. But he wasn't fooled by the leprechaun's trick. Quickly, he grabbed the sly fellow and cried, "Now you're my prisoner. Tell me, where is your gold?" The leprechaun wiggled and twisted and whined. "I'm just a poor man." But Tom held him fast. "You and I both know that you're lying," said Tom, and he made a fierce, frightening face. Finally, the leprechaun quit squirming and said, "Tom Fitzpatrick, you're too clever for me. I see that you are after my buried treasure, so I'll have to show you where it is hid." With his eye on the bitty man locked in his fist, Tom followed where the leprechaun led him. He traipsed over a hill and under some hedges and through a ditch and across the peat bog. And last, just when Tom feared that he'd been hoodwinked, he found himself in a great field of weeds. "Dig there," said the leprechaun, pointing to a bush. "Deep, deep. Under that bullion is where I put my gold." "Thunderation," said Tom. "I need to fetch my spade. But when I return, I'll be lost." There are 40 acres of bullions here, and each plant looks just like the other. Oh no, what's he gonna do? Still watching the leprechaun, Tom figured out a plan. He tied his bright red garter on the bush. You swear, you old rascal, that you won't take this off while I go back to get my spade. That I will promise you, the little man said. And Tom grinned. He knows that leprechauns always have to keep their word. Now, since I've shown you where my treasure is, I don't suppose you'll need me anymore. No, said Tom, my fortune's made. You may go, and good luck with you. Then goodbye, Tom Fitzpatrick, said the leprechaun. May you do much good with what you find. Away Tom ran as fast as he could run, figuring out how he was going to spend all his gold. Then he came back with a shovel in his hand, back to the field of bullions. But when he got there, lo and behold, a garter, just like his own, was tied to each and every bush as far as he could see. That tricky leprechaun. Tom dug under the bullion where he thought he tied his garter, but nothing was buried under that bush. And so he dug under another. He dug to the east and he dug to the west, and still he found no treasure. The harvest moon rose as he dug to the north, and it set as he dug southward. When the sun came up, Tom saw he'd dug 100 holes, and tired Tom Fitzpatrick knew he couldn't find that gold. So he gave up and headed for home. From then on, Tom always carried his spade, and he never stopped listening for tapping in the field. Every chance he'd got, he'd tell how he nearly found the leprechaun's gold. And since I'm a clever fellow, Tom would end his tale, the next time I catch that leprechaun, I'll have my fortune made. The end. Did you know that if you could catch a leprechaun, you get to keep his gold? That's so crazy. I know we're going to have some fun making some leprechaun traps here at school at Greater Las Vegas Academy. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. I love reading this every single year, and I hope you all are doing well and that you have a wonderful night's sleep. Dream of click-clacking in the field, and dream of leprechauns and gold and rainbows. All kinds of fun things this month. Have a good night, my friends. I'll see you next week. Good night.